Wow. Well, one thing I could tell you is height-wise, oops, there's this guy falling out again. Height-wise, compared to the today we're going to do a quick unboxing and comparison. Now, normally I do microphone comparisons, like I have a Shure SM7B over there. I've got my Rode NT1. This is an old AKG Perception. I love the AKG Perception. I really love that one. And I love my new Rode NT1. I just got it yesterday, literally, just one day old. So I got both of these microphones and I started looking at different stand options because I have a lot of stands, and I've been using these cheap arms. These are the Neewers. Now I get these on Amazon. You get like 3 of them for $20. I kid you not, 3 arms for $50. But it's kind of rickety, right? You hear that? It's a little rickety, but that's because I don't have it clamped down always, because sometimes when I'm tinkering around, I move it. Like I can move it from place to place. In fact, they sell the bottom parts of these clamps for, I don't know, for like $5 you get 2 of those. So I've got a bunch of those, so I could keep the clamps at different desks inside my booth, on different tables in different configurations, run multiple mics. And the cool thing about it is they're all somewhat the same, so I can move my pole if I want to get closer to it, and now my AKG is right in my face again, which is really what this type of microphone's good at, although it's really great from a distance too. Not to say the Rode NT1 isn't good from a distance or from close, or either way. So they're both running right now. But what I bought is from Blue. It's the Compass. I decided that I wanted to have a more professional arm. Now, right off the bat, before I even open the box, I know I'm going to have one major problem. And I can tell you right off the bat, I loved the fact that I could have a whole bunch of bottom bases and move the arm as I saw fit. In other words, I could literally just make 4 or 5 places on this desk and 4 or 5 of them, and buy these cheap clamps and move the arm around, and I could do that. And from what I understand, the clamping system on the Blue Compass is somewhat permanent. And I don't mean permanent in that you can't remove it. What I mean is it's part of the arm itself. It's not something you could just pick up and move. You can't do that, which means that anytime you want to move your compass, you've got to move the whole thing and unclamp it and find a new home for it. So the thought process is, wherever this is going to end up, it's going to be its permanent home, at least semi-permanent home. And in my world, there is no such thing as permanent. So without further ado, let's see how this thing is put together. Let's do a little comparison. I'm really curious about a couple of things in particular. In my case, I'm also hoping that it's a little larger than the Neewer and some of the other generic no-name Chinese manufacturers. So I'm going to pull it out of the box, shake it out of the box. Okay, well, I can tell you it's packaged very well. Oh, nice. Oh boy, am I supposed to open the side? No, this is any side will do. It's just, oh boy, it's really nicely packaged. All right, I'll say that much for Blue. By the way, I've had Blue microphones like that. Over here is Blue 8-ball. I know it looks like a snowball, but the original snowballs were white, and this was called the 8-ball. It was black. I've loved Blue microphones. I think I've had 4 of them. But this should be no exception. Blue quality through and through. Nicely packaged. Not that it's a surprise. Oh, and here's something interesting. The myth that I read that the arm would be built in is incorrect. So where I had read that somewhere, it looks like they do have the clamp as a separate unit. So to me, score huge win for Blue for that. And I will now look up and try to find as many of these clamps as I can, so I can do the same things I'm accustomed to. So I'm going to unclamp this, undo it. It's nice and beefy, I can tell you that. It's definitely well done. Need a little more. So far I'm very happy with that one thing. The other thing I like about this is the position of the clamping. Your you have basically a round thing at the bottom, and it's pretty straight towards the edge, so it can go close to the edge, which for me is going to be important because I'm going to be using this inside of my whisper room, and as anyone who's used a whisper room knows, it's kind of small in there. I mean, it's really cramped. Just have to make sure I go the right way here. I'm going the wrong way. So you don't have a lot of space in there, so you want to get this thing as close to the edge of the desk as possible. And in this particular case, I can tell you it is perfectly situated there. I went too much. All right, so step one is it is nicely clamped in the corner, and it does have a hole. Next up is the arm itself, which is definitely heavy. There's the instructions, which everyone loves to read instructions. And there's the arm. Now, so far, I'm seeing really heavy duty, which I love. I mean, one thing I love is when something is built right, I have a great appreciation for it. That's always important to me. Oh wow, it's got a nice spring inside. Not like this spring, but it like I loosen this up and it springs right back. Loosen it up, it springs right back. So I'm going to want to tap that down, at least for now, see what that's all about. And it looks to me like getting it in here is going to be just simply drop and go. And then spring, find your angle. Let's say I keep it like that. Wow. Well, one thing I could tell you is height-wise, oops, there's this guy falling out again. Height-wise, compared to the low-end Neewer, there's no way I could ever get it to go at this height, this 90-degree angle. Not that I would, but it's nice to know that I have that ability. The real great thing about this spring I'm feeling is as I'm tightening it, and by the way, it is difficult to tighten. I have to give that a negative. It's very difficult to tighten it, but I could tell that it's built for weight. So for example, I am going to take a relatively heavy microphone. In fact, let's take this guy off. I'll have to switch the sound so it doesn't get obnoxious. The sound here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a relatively medium weight. It's not a heavy weight, but it's got some weight. Although maybe what I should have done is grab my Shure SM7B. And now let's put this guy on here. So now it'll have some counterweight. And the fittings, by the way, are all brass. I can tell they're very nicely done. So I'm doing this. And I'm loving the height, by the way. All right, so I got that. It has an adjustable collar in case you need to manipulate that a little bit. And in my case, I'm going to lock it more or less like this. And the Rode itself has a nice adjustable angle, which I'm going to need. So far so good. And last but not least, I'm going to put my cable back. Okay, so now I'm back. I have my cable. And move the cable around. There is integrated cable management in here, which is little clips up on the top. I'm not going to actually do that at the moment, although I should. I really should actually. But what I'm looking at now is height, and of course, for what it's worth, I can definitely say there are a lot more height options with this mic, and because of the angles that I could do with the built-in Rode, I definitely have more flexibility here. Like if I want to get this higher, I can definitely do it. The spring is, as you've seen, is strong enough. So for all intents and purposes, for example, right now I'm looking at my levels. I'm getting good levels out of my Rode NT1, and I can bring it significantly higher than my other Neewer arm, and there's a lot more room here. I can go down on this pivot here. I can increase or decrease that pivot there. And there's one final pivot over here, which is very well engineered. So I am definitely loving this arm. In fact, I might start tinkering with the idea of putting some boom mics in there and seeing how that works out. so I can get some nice angles out of this puppy that are just slightly out of the shot. So let's just do that. For example, like right now, this is practically a boom. I can't really see it. I don't have my reading glasses on, but for all practical purposes, it can be made to be slightly out of the shot. It's up to me then to figure out the angle. So I want to have the face of the mic face me, but what you're listening to now, I could switch over in post, is the sound of the Rode literally just out of the shot. So it won't be in the shot, and I may or may not want to adjust my gain on that, but at the moment I'm looking at my levels, and to be honest with you, I think they're too hot. I may have given myself too much gain in my Zoom H6, which is what I'm recording this right now. So for me, that means that whatever I might be doing, if I'm using this for like a boom on a table, I've got a lot more space going on, because the mic can be literally out of the shot. This one here, I don't think I could ever get it. Well, I know I can't get it any higher than it is right now, my AKG on the Neewer stand. So for what it's worth, this has a professional pro look. It doesn't have that weird springy sound that you get with that one. There's definitely springs inside of this, and they do seem nice and firm. And in fact, as I demonstrated, when I ran this initially, without the weight of the microphone, it actually has a tendency to want to lift itself back up, which is kind of fun. So this is my first impression. I'm going to start using it a little bit more in production. Literally just took it out of the box, but so far I'm impressed. So at this moment, again, the audio I want you to hear, if you want to scrub back to the beginning, is my Rode NT1 in essentially a boom position. So what do you think? Does it sound as good? Well, obviously it won't sound as loud as when I was right on top of it, but it's out of the shot, and if I wanted to do something else where I'm demonstrating something else, it's there. And of course I'm in a noisy room. I'm not in my whisper room. When I put this in the whisper room, it'll give me room to read my copy, and that's an important thing, and it's the main reason I bought this particular rig. I don't think I'd read audiobooks in this particular position because I don't need to get it out of the shot, but I would probably put it in an angle somewhat like this and then pivot it somewhat like that, and I'd clearly be able to read my copy. And this is my little copy stand, so I could put either an iPad or a physical book on here, and it is not in the way, and I'd be able to read my copy. So for audiobooks and other types of narration, this is ideal. So that's my first impression of the Blue Compass. Nice swivel, and the surprise of the day for me at least is that the base is removable. So unlike some other things I've read about this and seen about it, the base is removable, which means all we need to do is find from Blue different bases. And what I'd love to see from them is if they can make one that you can actually just drill a permanent hole in the desk. Because there are some desks where I don't necessarily need a clamp at all. First impression, first impulse reaction for me is positive. I love this thing, and I'm definitely going to keep it. What do you think? Leave me a comment. Thanks for watching. Hey, before you go, I just thought it'd be a good idea for me to do a summary where I actually set my levels a little more scientifically and I experimented a little bit. So in conclusion, I absolutely love this Blue Compass. It is, to put it simply, light years above this other springy $12 Neewer.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You know, you and I, we kind of get along so well. We should meet one day. I mean, we've talked about it a dozen times by now. Yeah, why not? A little, we'll go out to a movie or something like that. How's that sound? Oh, I should just let you know, by the way, the pictures of my profile, they're not exactly accurate. Well, the muscles you saw in the pictures, I photoshopped them in. yeah, I know. And the head, I'm not good at Photoshop, so I left the head on it. Yeah. No. Well, how about coffee? Oh.
Hey, sorry. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I hope you liked the video. Yada, yada, yada. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure everybody sees it. Share it with your friends. And thanks for watching.